In this video, I am going to do a quick walkthrough demonstrating all the things that we need to add into our final layouts to create our newsletter. And in class, we created a newsletter that was similar to this. So I'm going to demonstrate the things that we looked at in class together, creating a similar mock-up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a masthead in Illustrator and create outline text that I can use for my newsletter. So I've just got a new Illustrator file here. It's 8.5 by 11. I'm going to add in some type. Call this again Buffalo News. I'll make it a decent size. I'll select the fun typeface. Let's see if there's something. That's a bit creepy. I was looking for something I can edit. There we are. I'll call this Buffalo News. So I'm just using typeface like that. Let's make it a little smaller. I want to edit and manipulate my type to make it look a little more visually interesting. So I'm going to convert my type to outlines, which is what one of the requirements I think in the instructions says. What that means is basically I'm going to change my type from editable type that I can actually click into and add or edit or remove letters. And I'm going to convert into a vector object, which means that it'll have editable anchor points, almost like a shape or a drawing that we would make in Illustrator, but it will not have text editability. So in order to do so with this selected, I'm going to go Type, Create Outlines. You can see now it's changed it into an editable vector shape. And then I'm going to allow me to ungroup them. So I'm going to go Object, Ungroup. And that allows me to move and manipulate the letters around if I want to have some fun with them. And I can use my different tools to manipulate the type to make it look more interesting. You can do a lot with the type. We could use the Pathfinder tools if we wanted to break the type apart. If I wanted to manipulate them and add in, say, little kind of neat serif elements. Oops, a daisy, wrong tool. I could add anchor points. To manipulate them. Now if I wanted to, there's a lot we can do with editable type. That looks like a J. Whoops. There's a lot we can do with type that's been converted to outline. To have some fun. Buffalo News. What I could do is I could give that buffalo horns if I wanted to. That's the worst buffalo horn ever. I want to make sure my color mode is CMYK in Illustrator. So I'm going to go File, Document Color Mode, CMYK. And then I'm going to save this as a layered Illustrator file. File, Save. I'll save it to my desktop where I'm working. New folder, Assignment 2. I'll save this as Newsletter Masthead. News. There. I'm making sure I'm saving it as an editable Illustrator file. There we are. Okay. So I did that really quickly, but basically what we're doing is we're creating a layered file that will be the masthead for our newsletter. We're creating it as an Illustrator file so we can edit it, and we're outlining it so that the type won't create any problems. I've already gone ahead and fixed up my image. We'll just pretend that I've already gone ahead and fixed up our image just like we did in the other lesson plan. So I already have an image I'm going to use. And what I've also done is I've already gone ahead and I've created an Illustrator drawing of my buffalo. It's a very basic, simple Illustrator drawing. You can make your drawings look like anything that you want. I'm just going to save you the pain of watching me very slowly illustrate a buffalo in Illustrator. I'm going to put together my layout. Now I'm going to go through this relatively quickly because we've used InDesign a few times. So I'm going to make a new layout in InDesign, File, New, Document. I'm going to make it 8.5 by 11. I'm going to set it up for print. We need 1/4 of an inch white safety space around all sides. So I'm going to set my margins at 0.25 so I can remember that I have that 1/4 of an inch. That ensures we don't have any bleed problems or color problems along the edge. And click OK. And just to make my life easier, I'm going to set up 3 layers to start with. I'm going to have a background graphics layer. I'll make a text and copy layer. And I'm going to make an images layer. There we are. So I'm going to start on my background graphics. I'll add in some color to make a masthead. I'm just going to draw in a shape using the shape tools. I'll color it using color from my swatches panel. So window, color, swatches. If I want to use a specific color, because this is an ugly green, I can actually make a color, window, color, color. I can make a specific color using the sliders. I like that a little better. And then if I want to keep that color in my swatches panel so I can use tints of it, I'm just going to grab it and drag it down. Whoops, it easy that added the black. Drag it from my color panel over. There we go. And now I actually have that color as a tint that I can use easily rather than trying to fiddle with it. Duplicate that, make it bigger. Now I made a very boring looking masthead here. Hopefully for your file, you'll make something a little more interesting than what I'm doing. There we go. So I've got a masthead. I'm going to place my Buffalo News in there. Keyboard shortcut is Command D or File, Place. Navigate to where I've got my files saved. Assignment 2. There we are. I want to have, when I'm placing it, under Place Options, I want to have a transparent background. Place it in. Oh, it did not come out of the transparent background. Oh, because I didn't select it as I said that. Let's do that again. File, Place. Show import options. Transparent background. There we are. Stir it back on. I was going to adjust the size of my cropping frame. Now I'm going to change this to white because I realized that the black Buffalo News on top of there doesn't look that good. One of the nice things about using layered files in InDesign is I can right click on it. I can go edit with, Adobe Illustrator. Open the file up. Select my text. Change my color to white. Save it, Command S. Close it. And it automatically updates in my InDesign file. So this is why we use layered files like this, because it allows us to easily jump back and forth. All right, I'm going to add in a few more background elements. I'm going to put a spot for putting my publication dates. And I'll duplicate this down towards the bottom, so I've got my footer area. There we are. I'll lock that background. Bring in some images. Keyboard file place, keyboard shortcut Command D. Bring in my buffalo picture that I was going to use. There we are. Now I'm going to go with a 2-column layout. And I just realized I haven't actually drawn my columns yet, so I should probably do that. And I'm going to do that using I'm going to use the guides. I'm going to draw a guide in the middle of the page, which is about 4 1/4. And then I'll just use the ruler to set up my guides on either side. Give myself a 1/4. There we are. So I've just added some guides in so I know where my center page is. Now my image is not the same size as my column, and I want to change that. So I'm going to use the scale tool, and that's this one right here. Keyboard shortcut is S. I'm going to scale it so it goes to the same size as the column. I'm going to make sure I've got my reference point set to the top corner. That makes sure that as I'm dragging it, it's going to reference to that little crosshair there, keep me from skewing it. And I'm going to hold down Shift as I drag. So I'm going to click the opposite corner, hold down Shift, drag to scale my image. That scales it to the width of the column. If I want to change the size of the picture frame, I can do so, but the image itself is now the width of the column, which is nice. I'm going to add in some text. Now I'm going to place in the text from the file that I've already created. And so any other images that we add in, we're going to add in on that image layer. Sorry, didn't mean to jump ahead of myself. I'm going to turn on my text and copy layer. I'm going to draw some text frames. There we are. I'm going to click inside the first one. I'm going to paste in or place in my text that I already have in a pre-existing Word document. If you want, you can just copy and paste it in from wherever you're sourcing it from. I'm going to do File Place. I've already written it all out, which is handy. Place it in. There we go. Now it gave me a warning there. I'm going to hit Command Z. Command Z. File Place. It said text import options. Select character or Macintosh Roman, platform. Remove at end of every line. Extra carriage returns, that's extra hard break returns. Use typographer's quotes. I'm going to change character set from Macintosh Roman. I'm just going to go to Times Roman. Let's see if it'll give me that option. It will not. Okay, keep it at Macintosh Roman. I noticed that there are a few interesting characters that must have changed as I brought in my text. So just be mindful if you're bringing things in from Word. Sometimes weird little things can happen. Those should be bullet points, and you'll notice it's changed it to weird little kind of character icons. Alrighty, I'm going to thread my copy from my first column to the second column. I can see I've got a little overflow text there, so I'm going to click that, click that. I've already got my Buffalo News header in there, so I can get rid of those. I'm going to turn on my hidden characters. Type, show hidden characters. So I've got a basic layout here. And the one thing that we went through and we did in class was we created some paragraph styles and character styles just for formatting our text and copy. And I'm going to do that with us as well. I'll do it pretty quickly because we've done it a few times already. Just save my file, file save. Save to my desktop, assignment 2, Buffalo News. I'll call it my name. Underscore assignment 2. So one of the ways I like to format copy with paragraph styles and character styles is I start with my body copy and I work my way up. And what I like to do is I actually like to style my copy in place, and then with it still selected, make a paragraph style. The other way we could do it is some people like to actually make a new paragraph style, so they click on create a new style, they set all their formatting, and then they apply it. I find it's actually easier to select all my copy. I just did that by hitting Command A to select all my copy. I'm going to format it, and then when it's still highlighted, then I'm going to create a new paragraph style, because you can make a new paragraph style based on highlighted text. So I've got it all selected. I'm going to change it to something nicer. Let's go with, I'm going to go with Roboto. You can make yours whatever. Good size for body copy, as I've mentioned before, is 8 to 10 point. So you can see here my Roboto is set at 12 point. I'm going to bring that down to about 10 point. This is a sans serif typeface, meaning that there's no serifs on it, which usually means it's got lower readability in body copy. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of spacing. So I'm going to adjust my tracking a little bit. I'm going to add in a little bit of leading. That's the space between the line spacing. Not too much though. And then the other thing I do is I'm going to add in space after. This is in my paragraph panel. I can get character and paragraph by going Window, Type, Character, Paragraph, or you can also do this in the control panel. I'm going to add space after, which means that after every paragraph is just going to have a little bit extra space. And with my basic formatting set up, which looks okay, I'm going to click in my paragraph style panel. So Window, Styles, Paragraph Styles. I'm going to click Create New Style. It's at the bottom here. And I'm going to call this, double click to call it Body Copy. Click OK. And now all my content is formatted like the body copy. You'll notice that I forgot to turn off hyphenation. So I'll go back into that body copy paragraph style. Whenever you're going in to edit a paragraph style, always make sure you deselect out of your text frame. So I'm going to double click on body copy style. I'm going to go into where it has hyphenation. I'm going to turn it off. There we are. Okay. And now that I've got my body copy style set up, I'm going to create a few additional styles. So I'm going to make a header, and I'm going to do that by duplicating my body copy style. Whoops-a-daisy. Duplicate style. And what this is going to do is it's going to make the new style based on body copy. So I'm going to make my new style based on body copy. And what that means is that if I change the font in my body copy, then the font here, Roboto, will also change. I'm going to make this a bold version. I'll make it really big. Let's say 15 or 16 point. I'm going to change my spacing to a lot less. So there's a space after. I'll make it a lot less. Click OK. And then now I'll apply that to my header. Header, click. There we go. Let's do the same. I'm going to make another style based on body copy. So I'm going to duplicate body copy style. We'll call this one subheads based on body copy style. I'll make this one medium 12 point. I'll do the same. Leave the indents and spacing. Click OK. Now I can apply subheads. Subheads. So setting up body copy styles is extremely easy. It allows for very quick formatting because, as I said, if I didn't like the way things looked, I can just open up body copy. I could change the font, and you'll notice everything changes with it. I can change the size really easily. I can do a lot of different things when formatting, and it flows through the entire document really easily. I want to add in some bullets because you'll see right here I've got in my original sample. Let's go to my original sample here. I've got some bullets in here. There's also a few extra things that I'll need to clean up from the way my body copy imported in, but I'm going to add some bullet points in, and those are pretty easy. I'm going to once again deselect out of my text frame. I'm going to duplicate my body copy style. Duplicate. I'll call this one body copy bullets based on body copy. I'm going to keep all the spacing and everything here the same. I'm going to go to where it has bullets. I'm going to click list type bullets. Click OK. I'm going to apply it here. And so what I can do is I can actually delete out where I had the bullets in the copy that I imported in, because I don't need those anymore. And I just noticed there's actually a subhead here I'll add in. Subhead. There we go. I'm going to select those 3 bullets and apply as bullets. Select these 3 and apply as bullets. Now I'll go back into my body copy bullets. I'm just going to edit how far in the bullet sits. Left indent. First line indent. There we are. Now I've got my bullets lining up really nicely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in, there's a lot of space in between each bullet. So I've already added space after, but what I want to do is make it so that in between those bullets there's less space. So you'll notice here in my indents and spacing tab, where it says space between paragraphs using same style, I'm going to change it to a smaller amount. And that allows me to have a little bit of space in between each bullet, but not as much as the space after each body copy section. I'll just adjust my image here so I've got a little bit more space at the top. I can adjust my text frame up. There we go. Just try and make it so that that last line starts up there. Now, a couple other things I showed in class. I had inset spacing on my paragraph so that I could actually have a text frame around my text. Let me show you how I did that. I'm going to select both of my text frames, and I'm going to go Object, Text Frame Options, and I'm going to add under General, Inset Spacing. You can see what that does is that's basically creating a margin inside the text frame, forcing the text in closer. Now the reason why I would do that let's say on this text frame I wanted to add a stroke. I could do so. I'll switch to outline mode. You can see there's that stroke. Our last bullet point is jumping over there. I'm going to have to fix this. Before we go to the next column, let's just move this up. Let's make my picture really small. There we go. It allows me to add a nice frame around this text frame, this column. What I want to do over on this column is I actually want to set the background for this text frame to a color. So let me set that right now. I'm going to select this text frame. I'm going to select the background. I'm going to make it a tint of the color that we used. And so by having that inset spacing, it allows me to have a tinted background on my text frame without having to have my text running right up to the edge of the text frame. It makes it look a little bit nicer. Now, I also want to have at the bottom here a graphic. So I'm just going to cut this out. I'll add in a text frame at the bottom for my contacts section. There. And I'll format that with its own paragraph style. What I'm going to do here, because I want my text in this section to be white, but I don't want to end up having to reinvent all my paragraph styles. I could, in theory, duplicate subheads and make the color white, so this one's a different subhead, duplicate body copy, but I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a character style. I'm just going to call it body copy white. Character styles are styles that are added onto paragraph styles. Think of them kind of like sprinkles on ice cream. We're adding it onto a paragraph style. So I'm going to call this one body copy white. I'm going to select the character color to be white. And then now I can select all this, and you can see this is body copy. That's a subhead. It's going to select it all and apply my character style. And now I have white text that's still formatted by my body copy. So if I, once again, were to change my body copy to a different font, you can see that all the rest of that text changes, but it stays white. So it's all about setting up the paragraph styles, character styles, all this. It's all about setting up the editability so later on it's really easy to format and change. It also ensures that everything stays the same. So once again, that's character styles are add-ons. Another great spot would be if I had words that I wanted to be bolded, I could make a character style, let's say call it body copy bold. Under basic character formats, font style, I'll add in bold. Let's see if I can find just a plain bold. You'll notice there's lots of options. I just want plain bold. It all depends on the font, which is what I'm looking for. There we are, bold. Click OK. I can now apply that character style to specific words. And it's made it white. I did not want that. Oh, that's why. Double check, go back into my character style, color. There we are. Added that. Well, look at that. I've messed it up. Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Check my body copy bold here. Character color black. Okay. There we go. I messed it up. I duplicated the body copy white. There you can see now. So I've got a bold word. It's an add-on on top of the paragraph style. I'm going to add in my buffalo image, file place. I'm going to switch to my images layer, file place, add in my buffalo image. Here we are. Then I can resize that as needed be, just making it fit in the space a little better. Hopefully you'll come up with a nicer looking image than mine. Mine's a little bit boring and bland. All right, so let's just say I'd take the time also to go in and I'm going to stylize my contact section. I might put in, as you've noticed in my sample, I might put in a date and title. Basically, oh, and a caption for my images. Basically going through and taking the time to format everything and make it look nice. What I'm looking for with the project is, did you format your type? Did you format your copy? Is there thought into the structure and the layout? Have you built it in a way that is easy to work with and easy editability? That's always something that people want. Once it's all said and done, I'm going to save mine. In order to submit it, we need to package it. And we also need to submit a high-res PDF and a low-res PDF for easier editability in terms of emailing people. Packaging a file from InDesign is easy. I'm going to go File, Package. And what this is going to do is it's going to collect all the links and everything and put into one folder for me, so it's easy to upload. I'm going to get a warning screen here in my package summary. If I had RGB color or anything in there, I would get a warning about that. I'm going to hit package. I'll save it to my desktop. I'm going to make sure I select everything in my InDesign package screen. Fonts, graphics, update link graphics, use hyphenation, include fonts from non-printing content, include IDML, which is the backwards compatible InDesign file, and include a PDF. We're going to manually add in a high-res PDF, so I can turn that off for the moment. I'm going to hit package. It's going to package everything. And then in my folder on my desktop here, there you can see that folder is just created, and in there it's got my links, and it's got my IDML file, my INDD file. The reason why there's no font file, I didn't use any fonts that were outside of Creative Cloud, so that's why I didn't include any fonts. But if I had to use funky, crazy fonts, it would have included those in there as well. I'm going to save two PDFs, a high-res PDF and a with printer's marks, and a clean low-res PDF that's easily emailable. So I'm going to do File, Export. I'm going to save them into this folder, and I will save my first one. I'm going to add on HR, so remember that it's high res. This is a print-ready PDF. I'm going to set it as Adobe Print. Under the general settings, I can keep all this the same in my PDF selection. If you want, you can change it to PDFX 1A 2001. That's kind of a good standardized PDF format. And then what I want you to do is under marks and bleeds, turn on all printers marks and bleed. I'm going to hit export. And what this will do is this is going to give me a high-res PDF. As you can see, it's got all the print marks, crop marks, and everything that a printer might need properly print it. And then we're going to save a low-res one that can be emailed and has a nice clean edge. So we'll do File, Export, save into the same folder. This time I'm going to change the PDF mode to interactive. Change that to LR for low-res. Save. You don't have to change much here in the low-res PDF form. And what this now is giving me, as you can see there, there's a low-res version. Whoops. It's got a nice clean edge. No crop marks or printer's marks or anything. The difference is my low-res is about 197 kilobytes. My high res is almost 1 megabyte. Where this makes a difference is when you have large files, let's say like a portfolio that you need to email, being able to change it from, say, a 20 megabyte file down to a 3.5 megabyte file can make a huge difference. Once this is all done, you're going to zip this folder, right click, compress. And then this compressed or zipped folder is what you're going to upload for file submission. So that's putting together a basic layout. A lot of the skills we've used are the same ones we used with that other workshop. Make sure to take time to proofread. Make sure to take time to spell check. Make sure to take time that all the little elements that are required within the instructions are completed. Have some fun. Hopefully put together a nice, creative, interesting looking newsletter. And looking forward to seeing the results.